take a seat in the audience while we invite our next speaker. I'd also like to take this moment to acknowledge Muni Amrit Kumarji's presence here among us. It's a great privilege to have you here. And I think with that kind of presentation, Kiranji needs a nice loud Om Arham. You've joined us later today, so let me explain to you that here we don't clap because there are all sorts of organisms that can get injured, and also the cycle of energy gets broken. So we lift up our hands and flutter them like this and create waves of appreciation and say Om Arham. So thank you for your presentation. And with that, we have the privilege of Muni Amrit Kumarji joining us on the stage along with all the other Munis. And I would like to take this occasion to invite Dr. Christoph Stückelberger here on stage. He was a founder and president of Transparency International Switzerland, a coalition against corruption. He is the director of the development organization Bread for All in a former avatar. And he was a member of the Swiss Ethics Committee on Non-Human Biotechnology. He founded Fair Trade Initiatives, and currently he is the founder and was the president and now is the executive director of the Global Network on Ethics. Globethics.net is based in Geneva, but they have an office in Bangalore. And of course, Dr. Christoph himself lives in Zurich and works in Geneva. So a very dynamic person who's constantly got an open mind. And I think wherever he goes, people have a glass half full. He keeps his almost empty, so he can fill it up with all the experiences and interactions that he has en route. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to hand over now to Dr. Christoph Stückelberger.
Thank you very much for this kind invitation, Your Holiness, monks, nuns, and friends. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here for this very substantial topic. It's also a great pleasure to be here in India again. During the last 15 years, was here maybe 15 to 20 times. And I always feel very inspired and fed, so to say, with new energy. And this has certainly to do with one thing that I will also talk about, it is spirituality. And this Anuvrat philosophy, which is more than a philosophy, it's a praxis, it's a lifestyle, it's a worldview, it's an existence, it's a being, I think is very important for that. I called my presentation Recycling Ethics for a Sustainable Circular Economy. I am working on recycling issues or sustainability since about 35 years. My first book I published in '79 on that topic, which was a bit the first hype of recycling and sustainability after the oil crisis 1972. Then was this effort. And '89 I started the first climate campaign in Switzerland. And it shows that 25 years later, we have made much progress, but of course far from what we should have done in the last 25 years. That's just as a remark how important this topic is. But I'm not here to complain. We are here to find solutions, find energy, as it was said. I like to start with terms, then about circular economy as is caring and sharing economy. Circular economy is a spiritual economy. And then I would like to talk about 3 E's and religions united for circular economy. The first, I think the terms tell about our worldviews and mindset. Circular economy, as we heard this morning from our colleague, what's happening in Brussels on the EU level becomes mainstream, and we sometimes need also new terms for old content. The content is not so new, but the term is new. Production, consumption, and recycling of goods and services is embedded in the natural and cultural cycles of the earth and of societies. That's my understanding of circular economy, the circle of production and reuse, and recycling is exactly a part of that. Reuse, reintegration, which is linked, of course, with efficiency, good stewardship, we could say, is also a new mindset saying that nature has no waste. Waste is a term which is, in a way, we should forget, because everything which nature produces has a way back and is a good, as what is not. It's just a good which is a first time used and will be used the second and third and fourth time. So I think language is very important. We should think about creative language expressing these new worldviews. On sustainability also, we have this famous definition of the Brundtland Commission, 87 and 92. I don't read it, but I have my own definition that I expanded a bit, the Brundtland definition, in a book published after Rio. Sustainable development enables the present generation to live a life in dignity without endangering the life in dignity of future generations or the non-human environment. And that's what our colleague this morning said. It's not an anthropocentric view. The Brundtland definition was still anthropocentric. We care for the future generations because they're also human beings. But sustainability goes beyond that. We care for the whole of creation, or however we want to call it. We are part of it, and it's a human and non-human existence of beings that we are caring for. Also, the question of how we call the varmints, for example. They are enemies, something to overcome, to beat, to compete. This is, again, a question of terms. We can say there are beings which are useful or which do harm. A staff of mine almost died a few weeks ago just because of a little bee threatening her. And so we see nature is not just peaceful. It can be very threatening, as we know, and Ebola is another keyword. Many things can threaten us, but still we know that nature is not just good and bad. Many things that we call a threat are useful for nature. Now, circular economy is caring and sharing economy. And I'd like to talk about this caring attitude. What does it mean? And I think there we see a lot of things related to also Anuvrat. These principles I see are very much a caring principles. Compassion is the ability to have empathy, emotion, sensitivity, rational capability for the needs of oneself and the other. Care is the ability to transfer compassion into concrete behavior and action towards oneself and the other. Compassion is not enough, or empathy. I can have a good feeling for you, but if it's not leading to action, to caring, then it remains in my heart a feeling. Now, I opened this box about the spiritual way, and I think we can all learn a lot from the Asian and Indian spiritual traditions. And you are much more expert than I am. But I think there is this deep movement from the ego to the self, to overcome this kind of greed, of possession, of I want more and more, and transform it into looking for the self, the real truth, the real reality. And this way, by yoga, by all kind of means of transformation, I think is the core, not only of Asian religions like Jainism, like Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, but also of other religions I come in the next slide. So it's a kind of a lifelong liberation process. This inner transformation process, which is called discipline this morning, which is called self-discipline, this is all part of this. And I think if we discover first this thirst for that, you know this famous expression of the writer Saint-Exupéry, who once said, if you want to ship or to sail on the sea, what do you do first? You don't instruct somebody to build a ship. You first create the thirst for seeing the sea. If I don't need the sea, why should I build a ship? So we first need this thirst. Oh, I want to go on this way from the ego to the self. Only then we are ready for that way. And I think we can say a similar thing from the monotheist religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Care and compassion are rooted in the love of God. And what does it mean if it says in the Bible, not mine, but your God's will shall be done? Then it's the same movement, not my ego, but the self, the larger self, which became visible in this holy person, Jesus. If we have the thirst to go on this way, then we can be liberated from our ego. It's the same inner movement. Or the double commandment, love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. The second is like it, love your neighbor and yourself. Again, it's this same inner movement towards the other. And that then leads not only towards the other human being, but towards the universe, towards the cosmos. We are part of that. And that is the core, I think, of environmental responsibility. And then recycling is, so to say, a natural, technical result. It's almost irresistible. We can no more throw away the waste, because we are almost hurted if we throw away something. Caring for the 5 skins, I call it. We can also take another image. We are, so to say, we have different skins. You know, we are born as naked persons, and the first thing that protects us is the physical skin of our body. Without skin, we die almost immediately. So the skin is a protection. But then we have a second skin around us, the clothes. We have a third skin, the housing. We have a fourth skin, the community, which protects us. And then we now know more than better in the past, we have a fifth skin, which is the climate, the atmosphere, the ozone. So if we want to protect humanity, we have to protect these skins. So the basic needs, the UN Basic Needs Strategy, the MDGs, the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, all that is to protect human being and life so that we can prosper in life. But in this holistic way of these 5 levels, or we can express it in this picture also, caring for myself is also important. We sometimes think we should be altruistic and care only for the other. No, we should be able to care for ourselves. That's a first obligation also. Have a job, have mental health, and so on and so on. Now, this summarizes, so to say, the circular economy as a spiritual economy for the different actors, be it the producer, legislator, consumer. And that leads to this, again, it's just a summary. We have a lot of commonalities of common background within the different world religions and worldview. And the common, the similarities is this movement from greed to modesty, from selfishness to care and compassion, from dependency, addiction. In Anuvrat it's called become free from addiction, to this inner freedom, from fear to security, from violence to non-violence, from superficial reality to truth as a deeper reality. And if we look at today's world, we can really see that many books and tendencies also in management, for example. Spirituality and management is a topic in many publications today. I don't go into details, you know, all that. Now I come to my fourth point and close to the end. I propose to have really to translate that also into a new vision of economy. I call it from AAA to EEE. AAA, you know, is this famous triple A philosophy, financial, mainly financial performance. You have a triple A country or triple A company or triple A bank. And I would say, no, we have to come to a triple E, ethics, economy, ecology. That's the new vision of a new circular economy. Yeah, just ethics can be seen as ethics as a tree of values, so to say. I don't go into this. I close with a final remark. Point 5, Religions United for Circular Economy and Climate Justice. We published 2 days ago at globeethics.net, this global network on ethics, a publication, a small publications with 9 statements, international interfaith statements on climate justice, which was sorry, here, which was also presented to the UN, where we can see that religions together stand together and say we have this value-based call to the politicians, to business, to our own religious communities to care for this world. And I'm very thankful for Anuvrat really as a profound contribution, and I think we shake hands, we cooperate on that. Thank you very much.
Om Arham. Thank you.